everyone! I'm sorry for the long wait. I've been struggling to come up with video ideas. There's only so much I can do with one fandom, so I'm branching out. But don't worry, I'll still make Stranger Things videos, especially after Season 5 comes out. By the way, this isn't my voice. I know, shocking. Unfortunately, I don't have a microphone, and the headset that I recently bought isn't working with my PC. So sad. Anyway, hopefully the AI voice isn't too bad. But let's discuss what this is on my screen here. This is a tier maker. And why do I have it? Well, the title is self-explanatory. I'm rewriting The Walking Dead with a wheel. But there's a twist. Yep, I'm adding Stranger Things characters into the plot. I actually got this idea by binge-watching Magnus Robert on YouTube. He does a bunch of wheel rewrites for The Walking Dead on his channel, so you should definitely check it out. I don't know if mine will live up to his, but I hope so. For those of you who don't know, a wheel rewrite is basically what you'd think. I will just be taking key plot points from the TV show, like deaths, and using a wheel to determine the result. It'll make more sense as we go. But before we continue, I should put a disclaimer here. If you haven't seen The Walking Dead, you should probably click off and, go watch it. There will be massive spoilers in here, so I don't want to ruin such a wonderful experience for you. I may be biased, but The Walking Dead is easily the best piece of cinema ever. You just have to take my word for it and go watch it. I feel like I've talked long enough, so let's just get into the video. Okay, so for those of you who have never seen or watched a wheel rewrite before, I'll walk you through it. It's pretty self-explanatory, you know? Anyway, we'll start by deciding who the protagonist is, and I know it's so basic, but our protagonist is Rick Grimes. I considered starting with 11, but just to kind of make it easier for the first rewrite that I do, I'm keeping the protagonist as Rick Grimes. I think it works the best for me. I have these other characters set up down here because they're the first characters that are shown in the series. I also have the episodes written here for Season 1. So we have Days Gone By, Guts, Tell It to the Frogs, Vatos, Wildfire, and TS19. Then I have the missing tier. So if characters go missing, of course, they go here. Now these are set up for the characters that die. So let's say Rick. Rick isn't going to die. He has immunity until Season 11, but his death has to make sense. Like, he won't be killed in Episode 1, is what I'm saying. There's no way. But let's pretend Rick dies during the Quarry Massacre. He'd be placed here. So that's what that is. I have it set up a little differently than Magnus Robert, and I will, at the end, change this back to just Season 1 deaths, but I like it the way it is for now. It doesn't bother me to change it afterwards. Anyway, let's just get into this. I think I should just start. So I've already stated that our protagonist is Rick Grimes, so I can place him in the alive tier. Now what you see here is the question, event, plot sheet, whatever you want to call it. I already have all of the seasons set up. 2, 3. Now some things may be missing. Some things may be kind of stupid, and I'll take them out for next time. But also, this here, is the chaos roll, which is also something that Magnus Robert does. I just added a few of my own outcomes and changed some of the original ones, just to make it more of my own, and I'm not copying him completely. The whole idea and use of it is practically the same. But yeah, let's just keep going so I don't bore you guys. I have this wheel here for the main characters, and obviously Rick is the only one here because he's the only character we've seen so far. But let's change that now. So the first question, whatever you want to call it, is, aside from who's the protagonist, is Jenny dead? Now Jenny, if you've forgotten, is this. This is the Jenny Walker version that we see in Episode 1. This is living Jenny, okay? So we have the option to either have a Walker Jenny or a living Jenny. Now here, heads yes, tails no. I have to flip a coin, so I'm using this right here, and oop, it's already flipping. Heads. Yes, Jenny is dead. Dang it. So we don't get to see Jenny alive and well. So we'll place Walker Jenny in Days Gone By because she's dead. And I'll just get rid of this Jenny real quick. Okay, beautiful, living, breathing Jenny is gone. She was never there. Forget you saw her. Jenny's done. But now we can add Morgan and Dwayne to the alive tier as well, and also the minor character wheel, even though we may have to remove them in 2 seconds. Now, next, what happened to Morgan and Dwayne and Jenny, if she's alive? Roll a d6. So I'm not gonna, I'll read them. 1. Dwayne dies and Morgan returns like normal. So the same thing that happens in the show. 2. Morgan and Dwayne go with insert, which is Rick, to Atlanta. So they would join Rick. 3. Morgan dies and Dwayne returns. So the opposite of what happens in the show. 4. Both die off screen. 5. Both survive and return, which means they'll both show up in the season 5 finale. 6. Morgan and Dwayne leave, but return in season 5 at Grady Memorial Hospital. So whoever gets kidnapped as the Beth stand-in will meet Morgan and Dwayne. And Noah. He's not going anywhere. So now that you've seen how that works, let's roll a d6, which is just a dice with 6 sides. So it's already trying to roll for me, but I'm going to reset it. Okay, 5. So both survive and return in the season 5 finale. So I'm going to write that down and pray that I remember. Dwayne and Morgan return in season 5 finale. So with that, we're going to move Morgan and Dwayne temporarily into missing, because they are, but they are going to return in season 5. So like I said, I added them just to immediately remove them. That's fine. Now, oh my gosh, you guys, I totally forgot that I was adding Stranger Things characters. At the sheriff's station, I was supposed to add 3 more characters. I guess we have to backtrack. Just bear with me. Okay, so yeah, that was completely my bad. I should have done a test run before. I mean, I have, just not with the Stranger Things version. So as you can see, I added the 3 characters, and they are Jim Hopper, Calvin Powell, and Phil Callahan. So obviously they don't work here, but in this universe they worked alongside Rick and Shane, and during the start of the outbreak they got stuck here and, I guess, never left. I feel like at least Hopper would have left, but we're going with it. So, backtracking here. When Rick, Morgan, and Dwayne went to the station and took showers, they ended up running into these 3. Now we're on track, and Morgan and Dwayne decide to leave. Before we continue, I just want to point out that I am going to change things or make up things as we go to be more realistic, or to just help me with this rewrite. One of the main things is time. I know in the span of season 1 to season 8, it's only been like 3 or 4 years, but in my universe here, each season is going to be a year. I know, maybe that's dumb, but it works better for me, and spoiler, or not so spoiler because I've mentioned it before, but I write fanfictions. In the one I'm currently writing, each season is a year as it works better for the actors aging. Because Carl Grimes is technically like 14 in season 8, but Chandler, the actor, obviously wasn't, so it makes it easier to just age him up to like 18 to 19 when we say each season is a year. Now, there are more, but I don't want to bore you, so let's continue. Now we have to figure out what happens to Hopper, Callahan, and Powell. So we're going to roll a d6 again, and 3. Let's see. They all stay at the station. So, I didn't clarify here, but when I say they all stay at the station, that means they just disappear. So, you know what? Because I didn't specify, I'm going to re-roll. Oh, maybe the dice is broken. Oh, first try. Let's see what we got. They stay with Rick. So Hopper, Powell, and Callahan stay with Rick. Awesome. So we can add them to the minor character wheel. You're going to see me mess up with spelling. I have anxiety. You guys are watching me, so I'm suddenly terrible at everything, you know? But we can add these three to our alive tier, and it's so funny seeing Hopper and Rick together. Anyway, the next question is Summer dead? Heads yes, tails no. Heads yes. Oh my gosh. Yes, Summer is dead. This is why we can't have nice things. I added the option to have Jenny and Summer for something cool and different, but we don't get either. Let me add Summer, just so we can kill her off. There, she's dead. Poor baby. By the way, I made this template based on only The Walking Dead, so I'm adding the Stranger Things parts as I go. I know, stupid on my part. But if you guys like this video on Season 1, then I'll be sure to plan out Season 2 way better. Anyways, I added Benny and Cynthia, and if you're not sure on who they are, or just forgot, Benny was the guy that Eleven stole French fries from. Cynthia is Lonnie Byers' girlfriend. I'm pretty sure. Honestly, I debated on adding her because she's kind of useless, but it's just more characters to kill, you know? Now, the story here is that in the beginning, Benny left his restaurant when his customers began to turn, and he met Cynthia on the highway to Atlanta. Cynthia was probably on the way to join Lonnie or something, and when Atlanta was bombed, they found their way to the gas station and met Summer. I'm gonna say that Summer's parents were probably killed, and Benny took Summer under his wing. I doubt Cynthia really cared. But Summer eventually got bit and turned, and they were never able to put her down before Rick and the others came. So obviously they're told there's no gas, blah blah blah, and maybe Benny tells them that there's a farmhouse down the road where there may be fuel. Now, we have to figure out what happens to Benny and Cynthia. Let's roll a d6. Okay, 5. So we have Benny and Summer return on the farm, meaning the green farm, and Cynthia dies off screen. Okay, so Benny will return on the green farm, not Summer 'cause she dead, but Cynthia dies off screen. So they both decide to stay at the gas station. And at some point, maybe Cynthia wanted to split up to find Lonnie, and Benny went after her, just to find her devoured by walkers. Maybe that's what happened. Then Benny somehow finds the green farm and stays there, where we will see him in Season 2. Okay, so then Rick, Hopper, Powell, and Callahan venture down the road to where the farmhouse Benny said is. And in this universe, it isn't the Sigurd family that owns it. It's the Hollands. So we have Marcia Holland, Barb, lovely Barb, and Mr. Holland doesn't have an actual name, but for the sake of this rewrite, his name is Aaron. That's his actor's name, so we're going with it. So we have Marcia, Aaron, and Barb, and also their horse. We're going to name him Sigurd, so we have something related to the Sigurd family. So Rick and the others meet the Holland family and are invited to stay for dinner. So they spend the night there, and in the morning they get ready to head to Atlanta. Now, because we have 4 people in the group right now, there's no way they're taking Sigurd to Atlanta. So I'm going to say that the Hollands allow Rick and the group to take the pickup truck. Maybe they're waiting for the military, so they have no plans to leave and they know it's not safe on foot. So they realize it's dumb to keep the truck there unused and let them have it. I guess I could have said there was more than one horse on the farm, but nah, we'll go with the pickup truck. Which means Sigurd survives, at least for now, and he doesn't die in Atlanta. So now we're going to figure out what happens to the Holland family. 1. They all stay and disappear. Oh, I really should take that out. I hate it. I guess it's realistic in the sense that not everyone you meet in an apocalypse is going to join your group, but this isn't actually real, so I kind of want to remove that disappear option from all of them and change it to something else. Editing Val here, I realize I put Sigurd into the deceased here. I don't know why I did that. Ignore that. I don't know. I guess I'll keep it this time. Let me know if you guys would rather me change it to something else or keep the disappear option. It does prevent it being like 50 characters in season 1, but I don't know. We'll go with it this time because I did cheat and change the Hopper Powell Callahan one, so I don't want to do that again. So unfortunately, the Hollands and Sigurd, can't forget him, disappear and are never seen again. I guess they got the Lambert-Kendall treatment. So, Rick, Hopper, Powell, and Callahan travel to Atlanta in the pickup truck. Rick sees a helicopter and they end up driving straight into a herd of walkers. So, I'm gonna say that they're unable to drive away because there's not enough space or time. So they rush out of the truck and fight off as many walkers as they can, but... And I know it's crazy, we only have 3, technically 4 characters, but only 3 can die right now. But I added, who gets the horse's death? So originally, obviously, the Sigurd's horse gets devoured here. But because the horse was left back at the farm, we don't have that death here. So we have to make up for it by killing one of these 3 characters. I'm really praying it's not Hopper and one of these 2. I know, that's awful, but come on. Hopper dying in the first episode is even worse. So, fingers crossed, and we're gonna roll. This is the first wheel roll of the rewrite. Let's just do it. Please don't. Oh! Bitch, you better be joking. No, there's no way. I'm re-rolling. There's no way, you guys. If it lands on him again, then I guess I'll have to. Oh my god, are you freaking kidding me? You're joking. You're actually joking. Fine. Gosh, the wheel has spoken. Hopper is done. Hopper gets the horse's death. So he gets devoured by walkers. That is so annoying. I really didn't want him to go out like that. So, I guess Hopper decided to sacrifice himself for the group, and... You guys! Should I cheat? Should I roll again? No, I really shouldn't, but... I won't. But from here on out, I think I'm going to give myself 1 veto each season. I could use it on Hopper, but I'm not gonna use it on Hopper. I'm sorry. Hopper's cool, okay? I'm just not a huge fan of him, so he can stay dead, I guess. I'm sorry. So, Hopper is our first big death of the series. Crazy. That's actually crazy that Hopper is the first one gone. I was expecting him to last way longer than that, but it's not his time. So, editing Val here again, I think I'm going to end the video here. I know I said I'd do all of season 1 in this one video, but it's already long enough with just episode 1, so don't be mad. I guess I'll split it up into episodes, or at most 2 episodes. Let me know how you'd like me to do it, if you'd like me to do more at all. I understand this probably wasn't the most entertaining and doesn't live up to Magnus Roberts' videos at all, but I tried. I will make sure to prepare way better for episode 2. But thank you so much for watching.